Hi, boys and girls. We are continuing our work with learning about our eyes. We will be doing Activity Book 10.1 as you are reading Chapter 7 called Eyes and Vision. So what I want to do is go over the directions for 10.1 and then you're going to go ahead and read the chapter. You can listen to me read it to you. You can listen to it on Amplify or you can read it on your own. But you're going to do that as you're working on 10.1. So the directions for 10.1 are find the correct order in which light travels through the eyeball by reading the clues and choosing the correct word for each clue. Then write the word in the numbered blanks. Next, fill in the letters for the mystery word at the bottom of the page. So number one, I'm going to give you page numbers in the chapter where you'll find the answers to these questions. So number one, you're going to find on page 56 as we're reading. Number two actually comes on page 54. You want to write these page numbers down so that you know. Number three is page 56. Number 4 is page 58. So as we get to these page numbers in the book, you're going to want to read this question and pay attention so that you can find the answer. Number 5 is also page 58, and number 6 is page 58. And once you have all the questions answered, you're going to write the letter that matches the number. So for number 1, you write the letter down here on number 1 when we're finished. Okay, so here we go. Follow along as I read or listen on the app or read it yourself. Chapter 7, Eyes and Vision. For the past few days, I have been talking to you about the body and its systems. Your teacher asked me if I could also tell you something about vision and hearing. I told her I could. I know a little about vision and a little about hearing, but I am not an expert on either one. So I told her I would bring in some friends of mine who know more about these subjects. I have one of those friends with me today. His name is Dr. Kwon Si-yu. He is a special kind of eye doctor called an optometrist. He can tell you all about the eyes and how they work. So here's Dr. Wellbody introducing Dr. Kwon Si-yu. Hello, I am Dr. Kwon Si-yu. See that play on words, See-you? Are you ready to learn all about eyes? Good. The human eye has several parts. I'd like to start by showing you two parts you can see easily. In the images on the right, you can see what eyes look like up close. The pupil is the black part in the center of the eye. The iris is the colorful part of the eye that surrounds the pupil. The iris can be different colors. Some of you may have green eyes or brown eyes. When we say that a person has green eyes or brown eyes, it's his or her irises we are talking about. The pupil is not as colorful as the iris. It is always black, but it changes shape. When it is dark, the pupil gets bigger to let more light in. When it is very bright and sunny, the pupil shrinks to let less light in. How much light will be let into the inside of your eye depends on the shape of the pupil. Now let's learn about some parts of the eye that you can't see just by looking at a person's face. The picture on the next page shows some parts of the eye as they would look if you could see inside a person's head. Okay? You are looking at them from the side. You can see the iris and the pupil. There are also some other parts shown. The cornea is a thin, clear tissue that covers the colored part of the eye. It helps protect the eye from dirt and germs. The lens is the part of your eye that focuses light. The lenses in your eyes curve outward. The retina is made of a special kind of tissue that is very sensitive to light. Light from the lens falls on the retina. Then, nerves in the retina send messages to the brain. These messages travel down a nerve called the optic nerve. Now let's see how all of these parts work together so you can see things. You may be surprised to learn that the eye does not really see objects. Instead, it sees the light that reflects off objects. Light passes into the eye, first through the cornea and then through the pupil. If it's dark, the pupil expands to let more light in. If it's bright, the pupil gets smaller to let less light in. When a doctor shines a light in your eyes, she is watching to see if your pupils change shape. Next, the light passes through the lens, which focuses the light and projects it onto the retina. The retina is lined with special cells called rods and cones. These are special kinds of nerve cells that sense light. The rods and cones send information to the brain using the optic nerve. All of this happens very quickly, so quickly that it seems like you see things at the exact moment you look at them. In reality, though, you are seeing them a split second later. The brain combines the information passed through the optic nerve of each eye to make one image. That is when you see the object. So, boys and girls, go back on page 79. If you weren't stopping the video along the way, that's okay. You can go back and listen again if you need to, or just go back and find the answers now that you've heard the text one time. You can do some rereading. You're going to complete numbers 1 through 6 on 10.1 and submit it on Schoology. Hopefully you learned something new about the eye.